What's shaking, folks? Back with another reaction, back with the last tune on the Not Just Here 2024 album, Steps. Thank you once again to Lisa for bringing this to my attention. A very cool album from a promising young artist, and shout out to Junie herself, of course. The last tune on the album is Lavender Empathy. Obviously, lavender is a hue. It is also a... what's the right word? A chemical or a substance. Nevertheless, I do wonder whether this is a shade of empathy in terms of its attributes or characteristics relative to some other type of empathy. Nevertheless, there's a poetry to the title, and I would not be surprised if there is a figurative expression of the phrase and the sentiment overall. So let's see what it is in practice. This is Not Just Here. The song is Lavender Empathy, and it is the final track on the 2024 album Steps by Not Just Here.
Shades of colors I didn't think I could see. This lavender empathy is more than I bargained for. To feel your smiles and stayed your thoughts, it's quite a lot for me to bear. I'd feel what I wanted, but I couldn't have expected that life would take me in this direction. And there's so many feelings that I have to bear. Half the time I'm unaware of where they're truly coming from. 'Cause you take all my energy. I don't always want to be in the dumping shade, and I've tried, oh, just not being nice. But I'd cry if I could have changed something that I didn't. Well, maybe this time I could make a difference. Ooh, 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 ooh. Shades of colors I didn't think I could see. This lavender empathy is more than I bargained for. I'm glad to be there, and I want to help, but there's something else that you should know. So to all the people that I've helped before, there's still an open door for you to go through. But to all my friends who might need to know, I've so much more to show than just a helping hand. 'Cause you take all my energy. I don't always want to be in the dumping shade, and I've tried, oh, just not being nice. But I'd cry if I could have changed something that I didn't. Well, maybe this time I could make a difference. Ooh, ooh, ooh. It's not me, it's you.
Well, definitely she's making reference to the colors, and interestingly that she couldn't see before, which I like that expression, figurative and perhaps on some sense visual, but I am intrigued by the line that the lavender empathy is more than she bargained for, and also making reference at the end to the people she's helped and there's still an open door, but then, more than a helping hand. There's definitely a interactive element to it, but also like self-trajectory, talking about life sending her in a certain direction. So yes, I don't know how it all stitches together, and I do think there's a lot of like emotional color in the song that I'm not quite sure how to read, but definitely, again, it's reminding me of like a Sarah McLachlan tune, or there's a bit of like Joni Mitchell in there. It really just has this like artful poetry expressed through acoustic and relatively minimal music, which, again, like the early Joni Mitchell stuff and some of the Sarah McLachlan I've gone through, that's very much the terrain. And those are, I would argue, great artists to make my brain think of. So yes, again, I think the artistry of this album is fantastic, especially for an artist so young. I think the songwriting is impressive, especially for an artist so young. And I think that if at all possible, she should continue in music. I think, it's not an easy thing to make a career out of music, and, I say that only in a sort of secondary or indirect way, meaning I'm a DJ, I've been a DJ, I play in parties, going back to the 90s. But even on that level, which is already secondary, like I'm playing tracks made by other people. Now I've collaborated on a couple tunes and I've used them in some of my DJ mixes, but I'm not a musician per se. I'm not a producer like a lot of my techno friends. And yeah, it's, in a lot of cases, you gotta meet the right people. The right connections have to be made at the right time. And even if you have talent, there's no guarantee of making a career out of it. But I really wish her the best in that regard and hope that she can, because there's already a lot here, and the idea of hearing that sound and that artistry develop over multiple albums over many years, I think that is a tantalizing prospect indeed. So once again, big thank you to Lisa for bringing this artist to my attention. Shout out to Junie for an incredible debut effort and a fantastic record in terms of the vibe and the atmosphere and the motifs and lyrics of the record, which I think are fantastic. So yeah, really, really cool. I feel very privileged to have been able to go through this. Let me know what you think, and Luca and I will see you next time. Peace.